All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. Okay, guys, so Bitcoin has continued to kind of just slowly grind to the upside here, coming up to that key anchor VWAP we talked about in yesterday's live stream. It's about 112.2K. We are seeing a bit of resistance from this anchored VWAP. You can see on the 4-hour charts. We tried to wick past it a little bit, couldn't really close any candles below or above it, excuse me, and now we are dropping below it. But we're not really seeing much of a drop. If we zoom in here on the 1-hour chart, we're hitting into that anchored VWAP, and we're just kind of squeezing between the anchored VWAP and our daily VWAP here. Now, if we do start to lose the daily VWAP, I think we can see a little bit bigger of a drop to the downside, and I would be looking overall for long positions, local long positions to take up to at least that 114K, 113.5 to 114K area of resistance. And if we look at our naked daily points of controls, let's just go ahead and turn those on. We do have a naked daily point of control right around 110,350. That would be an interesting target to see a bounce from that naked daily point of control from yesterday's point of control to continue pushing up to that 114K area. Money flow it was draining throughout the day, coming to the downside, but it is starting to look like it wants to round off and continue up here. It really does depend on, we need to start closing some hourly candles above this anchored VWAP at 112.2. If we do not, we'll see that bigger drop down potentially to 110,350. And if we pull a Fibonacci from our lows, let's see, was that from Tuesday's lows to today's highs? That golden pocket is coming in a little bit below that anchored VWAP, but you or below the naked daily point of control, excuse me. But that general area there where we do have some internal liquidity into the naked daily point of control golden pocket would be an area I would be potentially interested in looking for a scalp long to take up to that 114K area. Let's go ahead and zoom out on Bitcoin. And I want to discuss a couple other things with Bitcoin. So, as we know, and let's go on to our Bybit chart real quick. As we know, we are bouncing from our big, this cycle's pitchfork, a wave three pitchfork. After rejecting from the upper band of the pitchfork, we worked our way all the way down to the midline, and we're seeing a very nice bounce from the midline, reclaiming the value area high of our macro 2025 range. So for me, this is a good sign, and it is a sign that Bitcoin is trying to find strength here. Last time we did reject from that upper band in this area, we did see a three-wave corrective move down to backtest that midline, and we got a really nice reaction from that midline. So now we are seeing kind of a slow bleed down here, hitting into that midline, and so far we are seeing a nice reaction again. With the concern I have here is we do have some. If we zoom out onto the zoom in onto the 8-hour chart, we have very nice bull divs on the 8-hour chart. You can see three higher lows in the in the momentum waves, lower lows in the price action, and our money flow has bottomed out and is starting to rise up here. Same with Nami. Nami showed the three drives of bull div, and money flows actually crossed over into the green, which does tell me we can at least get a decent bounce up. Like I said in yesterday's live stream, probably at least to that 113.5 to 114K area of resistance. And then that's really going to be our key to see what happens in that general area. If we turn our naked daily points of control back on, you can see that in that general area, not only do we have a golden pocket, let's actually turn that golden pocket on. Let's get back to our Coinbase chart. Golden pockets there. You can see that golden pockets there. But if we turn on our naked daily points of controls, we do have a naked daily point of control, not in perfect alignment, but close to that golden pocket. And then, of course, we do have that liquidity that is resting there that I talked about in yesterday's live stream. So, very interested to see if Bitcoin can get above this anchor VWAP that we're at right now. We are seeing a small rejection from this anchor VWAP. If we do start to reject from it, I will look for some potential retraces for long opportunities to continue pushing up higher. Now, another reason why I am a little bit more bullish locally on Bitcoin right now, locally for local scalp positions that could turn into something bigger, is if we zoom out on the chart. I'm going to just hide some of this local price action. And let's hide this local range here. let's zoom out onto our daily chart. And this Fibonacci channel I've been talking about really ever since the start of the bull run. We mapped this out years ago, and we have been following this Fibonacci channel. I've talked about it many, many times on this channel. And remember, when we made our all-time high, I did warn that if we did come up here and reject, we could see a drop all the way back down to test our goal, our 618 of that fib channel. And so you can see here, and that was before I left on my little bit of a break I had. We did bounce, come back up, reject from the top of that channel. Now the pink channel is the main channel. So let me zoom out onto our 3-day chart, and we'll get a look at this Fibonacci channel from the beginning of the bull market. So you can see this Fibonacci channel was pulled from these three first major daily pivots and the wave one of our 5-wave impulse. If we're looking at a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, finishing our 5-wave, potentially seeing a bigger correction now. But if we look at this, this has been our macro trend for the cycle. You can see how well this trend absolutely has been respected. Every major pivot in this market has really been respected by this Fibonacci channel. Now, after we lost the breakout of the channel, the pink channel in, January through February, we formed a range above it. We could not hold that range. We broke back inside the channel and we came down to test the midline, which is that white line there. We did hold the midline. We made another attempt to break up to the top of the channel. We did break up to the top of the channel, saw $11,000-$12,000 rejection. And then we tried again to break out of the channel. We saw another rejection. And then on our last all-time high was a perfect rejection of the top of the channel. So very recently here in the last few months, we have had 3 major rejections from attempting to break out of this Fibonacci channel. This is the main top part of the Fibonacci channel, main trend line of the top of the Fibonacci channel. If we do see those rejections like that, we could expect that Bitcoin is going to drop to test the support of that channel. Well, let's go ahead and zoom in now onto our 4-hour chart, and where we had our box of support, which was the macro value area high, our golden pocket. Look at what we did. We hit into that Fibonacci 618 of the channel. And so not only do we have major support levels of our wave 3 pitchfork that we bounced perfectly, finding a perfect bottom at the bottom of the wave 3 pitchfork, the midline, after rejecting from that upper band, but if we go on to our Coinbase chart and we look at that Fibonacci channel, now I don't know why TradingView does this, but you saw just right before this it was touching, and now that I come back to it, it's not touching. So I'm not clear on whether it is touching because it keeps going back and forth on this, just depending on what time frame. So if we zoom out to the 3-day, you can see that we have touched that Fibonacci channel 618, and we are seeing a nice reaction. And that was also in our box, our macro box of support that we've had laid out on the charts for us, where if we were going to expect Bitcoin to see a rejection from the top of our channel, then the main support level we were looking for a potential reversal of a dump would be this general box of support. And so now we are seeing that box of support give us that bounce. We are bouncing nicely from the 618 of the Fibonacci channel, from the midline of our pitchfork, and we are seeing, if we now let's go back onto the 4-hour chart. Let's get back to our Coinbase chart. We are seeing a nice push up so far. The divs, the bull divs on the 8-hour and under 8-hour, 4-hour bull divs are playing out here. You can see these nice bull divs. Money flow is rising. It's steadily rising and actually crossing over into the green on the 4-hour chart. Yes, our momentum wave is topped out, and this is why I do think we might see a small pullback from this anchored VWAP that I talked about in yesterday's live stream, about 112.2. But if we do pull back, in my opinion, it's going to be an opportunity to look for a long position on the golden pocket retrace or on that naked daily point of control, where we could see that momentum wave cool off a bit while money flow kind of continues to rise overall, and we could get a bigger push up at least to that 113.5, 114K, potentially all the way up to that 118K area of resistance. And that 118K area of resistance is going to be a very important resistance. So if we turn on our previous range that we broke down from, And I'm also going to turn on one more range, which is a bigger range, but they're both relatively local ranges in the past month or two. You can see the point of control of both of those ranges is going to be coming in right around that 118.1, 118.2. By the way, this more intermediate range here, you can see we bounced from the value area low of that range, which was also the macro value area high of our 2025 price action. So this 118K area isn't definite area of resistance. If we turn on a few of the levels that we got here, I believe it was a naked daily point of control that's in alignment with that point of control. And then also, if we just look at our Fibonacci retracements, we do have that Fibonacci golden pocket pulled from the all-time high to our lows that we made. That Fibonacci golden pocket is going to be coming in here. And if we do see a bounce to create a lower high, that golden pocket is often the place where we do reject on that lower high to continue pushing down here. So there's a possibility that over the next week or so, Bitcoin does get a relief rally to that 118.2K area of resistance, where we do have a nice confluence of resistance up in this box here with naked daily points of controls, range point of controls. Those are volume levels of resistance along with golden pocket, golden ratios there, golden pockets that could give us a nice resistance to look for a potential lower high and a potential short position to come down to lower targets if we are going to break down. Now, if we do come up to that 118K area, I will be looking for shorts, but at the same time, I will be looking to take profits on higher lows, at least some profits, because there's the potential with Bitcoin overall coming down to our macro value area high. Let me just go ahead and turn that on, our macro channel. Not macro channel, our macro range. That is all of 2025's price action coming down to that value area high and holding it as support does suggest that Bitcoin is showing continued strength, breaking above our 2025 fair value for Bitcoin, now coming back down to bullishly back tested as support. And so far, it is holding as support, and we are making another push towards the upside. So the overall larger trend, the larger bias that we have to have as traders is that Bitcoin is still showing strength. And even though we are getting a bit of a dump from our all-time high down to 108K, Bitcoin is just doing a little bit of a correction to reset the market before continuing to show strength and continuing to break out to new levels of price discovery. And that's why I will be looking for, if we do come up to 118K, we reject that area. I will hold it open just in case it's going to be a swing short and we do break back inside the volume profile. But there's a potential that we could come up to 118K, reject from 118K, come down to our local golden pocket retrace, hold it as support, and continue breaking up to new all-time highs. So as a trader, we need to be prepared for both scenarios. And we just mark out our levels, mark out our key confluences of resistance, our key confluences of support, which we did mark that out ahead of time, and we be prepared for whatever comes. Right now, Bitcoin and the market's kind of trading slow, so I get that a lot of people are getting bored right now. Be aware, a lot of people like to take trades when they get bored that don't make sense, so don't be one of those people that just take a trade because you need to have a position open. Wait for the market to come to you. Okay, so yeah, Bitcoin's at our local level of resistance we talked about in yesterday's stream, but overall on macro support, we are hitting into our macro support level and seeing a nice reaction, being the fib channel 618, being the pitchfork midline of our wave 3 pitchfork, being the macro value area high of our 2025 range, and we are pushing up. Now, if we go into our order flow chart, our CVD and open interest chart, we can see here really ever since we started forming that rounded bottom in that box of support, let me grab our brush, that rounded bottom in our green box of support, we are forming higher lows, higher lows in the price action. We are forming lower lows in our CVD, and we are forming our open interest is increasing here. So this is bullish CVD absorption. This is textbook bullish CVD absorption. Now, the way the open interest looks is a bit concerning to me because we want to really see a steady rise in open interest. And you can see we have a nice steady rise and then a big drop. kind of a nice steady rise again, and then over the past day or so, we've been seeing a big drop, day or two. But overall, this is still considered textbook bullish CVD absorption. So with this now in mind, we are seeing bullish CVD absorption bouncing from our macro support level, finding a rounded bottom from our macro support level. If we do drop on Bitcoin from either the area that we're at right now or from that 114, 113.8K area of resistance just above, I will be looking for retraces to potentially look for swing long opportunities on Bitcoin to take up to at least 118K, 118.2, or even to new all-time highs, attempting maybe a fourth time to break out of this channel that would be around 128, 129 to $130,000 would be the breakout we need for Bitcoin to maintain continued strength on this push up. Okay, that is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin locally. Other than that, we're kind of just seeing a little bit of a relief bounce. And this relief bounce is nice so far. Money flow is curving back up. We are seeing the bull divs that we wanted to see, intermediate time frame bull divs. Now, if we go zoom out onto the daily chart, this is still a concern to me. And I understand I just said I'm more bullish and I'm looking for long opportunities. But we do need to keep in mind as traders that this bearish momentum that has developed over the past 2 or 3 months could continue. And you see here, we have made higher highs all 3 times into that major channel top of the fib channel. And every time we have done that, we have formed another drive of bear divs on the chart with our money flow draining out of the asset really ever since our first attempt to break out of that channel on the money flow, draining out, crossing into the red now. We did get a green dot that printed yesterday. It did end up confirming, and so we are seeing that little bit of a push up that we expect from a green dot to print. But as our macro momentum and money flow looks with the hidden bear div signal that printed earlier this week, we do need to watch for a lower high and then another lower low. My bias is still bullish, but I will be watching for a potential swing short opportunity as well, playing both sides, hedging myself that way. Either way, whatever happens, we're prepared and we can execute. That is about it for Bitcoin, guys. I mean, Bitcoin is squeezing. We are seeing the VWAP bands squeezing tighter and tighter together. And anytime you see these bands squeeze together, when they do start to expand, which you can see, we're starting to see a little bit of expansion now, we generally do see a big move on Bitcoin. So in the next 24 to 48 hours, we could see a pretty big move on Bitcoin. If we go into our Forex calendar or just into our news calendar, we can see that on Thursday, where was it? Thursday, we do have some ISM services news that's coming in. That's going to be in the morning for me. And then on Friday, we do have, where is that? Yeah, unemployment. We have unemployment. We have non-farm payroll. And then those are going to be important high-impact news events that happen this week. We also have a couple of FOMC members speaking. Now, this is not Powell, so just be aware that it's not going to have the impact that if Powell's speaking. That's going to be tomorrow on Thursday. Overall, I'm just going to be looking at Bitcoin and being patient with Bitcoin, waiting for it to come to my levels and waiting for reactions to see reactions with confirmations. And this is why I do use Market Cipher B and NAMI as confirmations to either enter or exit those trades. So speaking of entry and exit confirmations, what I do is I'm looking for, money flow bear divs, momentum bear divs, as well as those bull divs as we're coming to our boxes of support or resistance, not in the middle of nowhere, as we're coming to our marked out levels that we're interested in. So if you guys are interested in purchasing NAMI, NAMI has partnered with the channel and they are offering a 50% off discount code to my community. That's a really good code. I would suggest if you do want to purchase it, do it while that code is still available. Divine50 is the discount code. The link and the code are in the description below. Also, I do have a couple partners of the channel. Main partner of the channel is BYDFI. They are a VPN free and KYC free exchange. All you need is an email and a password to sign up. I have partnered with Bybit to create a Telegram community. And if you guys want to join that Telegram community to get access to some of my trade setups that I post there, some of my analysis, all you need to do is deposit $100. First off, you will get a 50% deposit bonus on your $100. It's your money to trade. You'll get 20% discounts on trading fees, and then you can get access to that Telegram group. The Telegram link is in the description in the comments. After you deposit the money, all you need to do is go into that Telegram group, and then you'll type in /verify and then your user ID, and that'll allow you to get access to that Telegram group. So you can also see that BYDFI does offer various 10 to 20% initial deposit bonuses depending on how much you deposit. And then the more you deposit, the bigger discount fee you get as well. And they have really matched the market here and given us really good fees. So the more you deposit, the more off you get on your fees. And they are matching the best in the business. The next sponsor of the channel is MEXC, and MEXC is doing, if you deposit $200, you can get a 20%, $20, excuse me, 20% initial deposit bonus. And then Bybit is my fourth partner of the channel, and they are offering up to $30,000 in futures trading bonuses and trading bonuses depending on how much volume you move. So the links to all of those partners are in the description below. If you are interested, they are all reputable exchanges that I've traded on and that I use, or I guess I don't use Bybit right now because of my location, but I do know that it's a reputable exchange. Let's get back to the TA here. Let's go into the total market cap real quick. So, guys, a couple days ago when I talked about this total market cap, and I also talked about it yesterday in the live stream, we were looking at this upper range here on the daily time frame, this range that goes back really to about July 14th, middle of July. And we were starting to lose the value area low of that range, which was a bad sign. But we have since now reclaimed the value area low of the range, overall held it as support. You can see we got some wicks down below it, but no daily candle body closes below it, which is what we were really looking for. A daily candle body close below that value area low could dump us down to hit into our pitchfork midline. But because we were not able to close any daily candles, it did hold its support, and now we are pushing up, and you can see we are testing the point of control of that range. If Bitcoin, if the total market cap can get above the point of control, I do expect a move to continue up near that value area high of the range, where we do have our golden pocket retrace from the highs to the lows of this correction that we're seeing. And I expect that the entire market will continue to push to the upside with the total market cap. Nice bull divs as we were coming into that value area low. You can see lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves. And now that our money flow is bottomed out here, it is coming up and crossing into the green, showing us that even if we do reject from this POC, we might just get a drop back to back test that value area low as support again to continue rising up to the value area high. So a little bit of a relief rally for the crypto market could be due over the next couple of weeks. Okay, going on to Ethereum. Now, guys, Ethereum is still just kind of, we're seeing a little bit of a push up today, and I'm going to zoom in onto the 1 hour chart. We're still just looking at this upper range that Ethereum has been in. Nothing much is happening. We did bounce from the value area low of that range. You can see here. Let me see what is going on with. There we go. Okay. We did bounce from the value area low of that range. We were able to get above the point of control, kind of back test that point of control over the last couple of days as support. It did hold, and now we are pushing up. And you can see the value area high of the range is going to be where the back test of our major pitchfork top is. And I still am short from that area. I have taken some profit since then. And if we do come back up here, I will be looking for another short in that value area high pitchfork top area, about 46.17, 46.20-ish. But if we do look at where Ethereum is kind of stalling out today and seeing a little bit of a rejection, is right where our 1-to-1 Fibonacci target is. So if we're looking at this just being a corrective move to the upside before coming down lower, because remember, we talked about on Tuesday's live stream, Ethereum is actually one of the worst looking coins as far as the big bearish divs on the chart and the amount of bearishness on the chart for Ethereum looks a little bit worse than some of the other coins, than Bitcoin and some of the other coins. Money flow crossing into the red here on the 6 hour after multiple drives of bear divs here on the 6 hour chart. Also, money flow bear divs on the 6 hour chart. So bouncing from the value area low and holding that, but I am still looking for more potential downside overall on Ethereum. Now, zooming back in onto that 1 hour chart, from the bounce from the value area low, you can see we've got a very nice three-wave corrective move so far. Didn't even take out the liquidity. Now, if we would have came a little higher and took out this liquidity, I would have added to the short. If we would have done an SFP and started dropping, I would have added to my short position. But we did not actually get the SFP. But if we look at this as a potential three-wave corrective move before continuing down, then the target for that three-wave corrective move, if we just take our trend-based Fibonacci extension and measure that, we are in our target zone where you would expect to reject between the 1-to-1 and the 1.236. And you can see we are rejecting from that general area and starting to lose our 1-to-1 Fibonacci extension. So there is a potential that this rise is over, this little correction that we've been seeing since Monday is over, and now we are going to continue dropping back down, or at least just to continue ranging. That means we could come all the way back down to the POC, bounce from the POC, continue to push up and take that liquidity, maybe come up to the value area high, continuing the range. But if we take our Fibonacci from the lows on Monday, hitting into that value area low to the highs that we saw earlier today, you can see our golden pocket retrace is going to be at that POC. So this, at the same time that I'm short from higher, if we do come down to this golden pocket POC support level around 4310, 4309, then I will be looking for a potential long to play both sides, a long from this area to bring up to at least grab our liquidity above us at 4,500 or 44.99, let's say, and then even potentially coming up to that 46, 20 area where the value area high of the range is, just playing the range, right? So potential long opportunity there. I will post about it in the Telegram if we're coming down to this area with very local bull divs. Of course, we're going to have to be looking locally on low time frames for bull divs as we're coming down into this area. But if we come down to this golden pocket here, I'm just going to set an alert here. We'll set an alert right next to it. And if we come down to that area with bull divs, I will attempt to hedge my short position with a long position. And that way we will be in a what Jason calls a schlong, and you're protected either way. Zooming out onto the 8-hour chart for Ethereum, it is the money flow is starting to curve to the upside, and we did have very, very slight bull divs here on Market Cipher B. You can see here as we were coming into the value area low of the range, lower lows on the price action, higher lows on the momentum waves, but our money flow looked really bad. And so we were waiting for a little bit. Actually, what I'm waiting for is another drive. So I want to see a higher low come in, a lower high come in, maybe grabbing that liquidity, and then seeing one more dump back down and creating another drivable div, allowing that money flow to kind of bottom out more and really start to rise to the upside. And that would give us a much bigger potential swing long opportunity on Ethereum. Also, we do have to remember, as far as our bigger Elliott wave count goes, we are looking for a drop potentially down to the 382, or even in a very bullish scenario, in my opinion, dropping down to about 3,500, where we do have macro support, a macro confluence of support, seeing a bigger wave for correction down to that 3,500, and then we would see our last impulse in our wave 5, potentially up to like 6K or higher. But that's about it for Ethereum. It's just ranging. It's ranging in this upper range at the top of our macro pitchfork. So I will clean up this chart and we can look at that. Let me just go ahead and delete some of this stuff here. And if we look at this pitchfork, I'm going to zoom out onto the daily chart. We are just finding resistance at the top of our pitchfork. And every major level of this pitchfork, we've seen some sort of resistance. A range that formed in the bottom band, broke above the midline, kind of formed a range, testing that midline as support, saw a flash crash to our local golden pocket and our anchored VWAP. Then we busted up, kind of formed a range in our band, back tested that band, which we did long that back test right here and we took profit at the top of the pitchfork. And now we're at the top of the pitchfork and we're just forming another range. So if the overall trend is going to continue, then we might see a drop back down to that band, either the top of the upper band or the bottom of the upper band, and then a continued push up to new all-time highs to actually make real new all-time highs, not just a swing failure pattern of the all-time highs. And money flow on the daily time frame is starting to kind of bottom out and looking like it wants to curve up again. And then our momentum wave is also starting to look a little bottomy here. So it does look like that Ethereum could soon see either this range continue or a push up. I want to see a little bit more of a drop though. It doesn't matter what I want to see. We're just going to go with what the market shows us and what the market gives us. But we are holding this upper range near the top of the pitchfork. So, okay, let's go ahead and go on to Solana. Now, Solana, guys, we are hitting into some resistance where I potentially was looking for a short position. I didn't end up shorting this, but I am going to, I do think we're going to see a little bit of a rejection from this area. And then I'll be looking for retraces to add to my to add to a long position or to open a new long position. And the reason why is because I talked about this in the stream, that 218K area, that golden pocket resistance that we front ran just above us. Okay, so that this what happened today is on Solana, we did continue to rise up. Solana actually looking a little bit more bullish than some of the coins out there. Getting that rise up, breaking that local golden pocket at 110. If we pull from the highs to the lows, this correction that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, you can see that golden pocket 209, 210 to 28. Really, we're breaking above that golden pocket and we're actually holding it as support now, but we are rejecting from the value area high of our local range in confluence with our pitchfork band. This is a new pitchfork that I just pulled today on Solana. And if we look at this pitchfork, let me zoom out to the 8-hour chart. We just pulled it from our major pivots from that major 96K low up to our first major daily high and then down to that correction low when we bounced from the value area low that was around the macro value area low around 124. And since then, we've kind of just been working our way up. Came up to the midline, rejected from the midline, came down to the band, held it as support, pushed up to the upper band, saw a little bit of a deviation above the upper band, but lost it right away. Back tested that upper band, lost the upper band, came down to the lower band where we were looking for long, and we did take that long there. Came up all the way to the upper band again, rejected the upper band a second time, came down to the midline and held the midline, and then now we're testing that upper band again. You can see in this area, let me go ahead and turn off this range real quick, and you can see we're just testing this upper band again. Now we tested the top of the upper band, rejected a few times from the top, lost that upper band, and now we're testing the bottom of the upper band. So in my opinion, we could see a little bit of a rejection here and a little bit of a retrace back down, but because we haven't come up to hit this golden pocket at 218.66, I would be looking for potential longs on the retrace to actually hit that. And of course, that would be the top of the upper band again, where we could see another rejection from the top of that upper band and then work our way down to the midline. Now, the top of the pitchfork itself is going to be near, depending on how quick we get up there, it is going to be near our major purple box of resistance, where we do have that monthly level, that naked weekly level. So we have a monthly up there at pretty much 232. We do have that naked weekly point of control at 235. You can see nice confluence with the top of the pitchfork, and then a daily level up there at 238. So this box is still something that I'm interested in looking at, potentially rising up to there, but we first need to tackle this golden pocket between 218 and 225. The money flow and momentum still does look bad. You can see here, really going all the way back to middle of July, we have continued bear divs forming on the chart on the money flow, and then we also have money flow bear divs, momentum bear divs, and money flow bear divs. And even more locally in this kind of rising wedge thing that we're seeing here, you can see we have bear divs with money flow crossing into the red. But just today, with that little bit of a rise today, you can see that our money flow is now crossing back into the green. So maybe this was a fake out and we're going to continue kind of pushing up here. But I would be very aware of another lower high money flow wave coming in where we could form a third bearish div drive of money flow coming up maybe into the golden pocket or up to the top of the pitchfork where we might get a much harsher rejection. And we will be watching that over the next weeks on the channel. So don't worry, I will keep you guys updated on that. You can see we did, even though we have more regional bear divs very, very locally, especially on NAMI here. NAMI is a quicker indicator. We got the bull divs, and these bull divs are giving us this little bit of a push up here, crossing into the green also on NAMI on the 8-hour money flow. So that gave us that rise that we were looking for, and we're at local resistance. Zooming back onto the 2-hour, we're at local resistance, and we're either going to reject from this local resistance or we are going to be able to keep pushing up a little bit higher to hit that golden pocket. Now, I do think either way, I'm going to be looking to potentially short the golden pocket at 218, and I'm going to be looking to long retracements here. Let's turn on that range again. This range value area high we need to break above, and if we break above that value area high and then reject from the golden pocket and then fall back inside the volume profile, I would be looking for a much bigger drop to occur, all the way probably down to the midline at around 189. So yes, let's zoom in onto our 1-hour chart. On the 1-hour chart, we are now starting to confirm some bear divs on the chart. You can see lower highs in the momentum waves, higher highs in the price action, but our money flow is still rising here. It was dipping a little bit, now it's rising again, and then on NAMI, it's crossing into the green again here. So I do think that this might continue pushing up until we actually hit that golden pocket at 218. 15-minute chart. If we zoom into the 15-minute chart and we look here, we are seeing continued bear divs from yesterday. So building those local bearish divs on the 15-minute, 1 hour, which if we do come up to that golden pocket at 218 and the top of the pitchfork band at 218, could give us nice confirmation to enter a short, because we do have high time frame bearish divs that are confirmed already, and then we would be getting more low time frame bearish divs, multiple drives of it, and that would be actually hitting into the golden pocket, taking the liquidity of the front run of that golden pocket from a couple weeks ago, from around the 28th, 29th, and looking for a potential nice short opportunity. That is it for Solana. Let's go on to SUI. Let's zoom out onto the 2-hour chart. Now, SUI has been kind of pushing up pretty nicely here as well. We are kind of pushing up in this rising wedge, or this channel. You could call it an ascending channel or rising wedge, but we've been pushing up in this channel formation. Money flow has crossed over into the green, and there is no bear divs on Market Cipher or NAMI on SUI on the 2-hour chart. So I'm looking for SUI to come up a little bit higher. If we look at this range, let's go to the 6-hour chart, and we look at this range that goes all the way back to November of 2024. You can see the point of control of this range is going to be not only at the top of our very small ascending channel, but we do have a daily resistance up there and our point of control of that major range that's up there. And now that we are below the point of control, it will be acting as resistance. And this is a macro range that we're looking at. So let me zoom in a little bit more here. We'll go on to the 3-hour chart. So around that, 346 to 349 level, you can see this. Let me hide this guy. The pink line here is that macro descending channel that we've been really struggling with for quite a while, the daily level, and the point of control. And that is a potential area to be looking for a short, for a lower high to continue coming back down, to actually come down to that naked daily point of control and golden pocket that we were talking about in the live stream yesterday, where this is a really nice long opportunity for me if we come into like that 295 golden pocket, hitting that naked daily point of control. If we turn off our naked daily points of control and our daily levels, and then we just look at this range that has been forming, in this area, this upper range that's been forming since trying to break out of the channel, since trying to see the breakout. So we can pull that range if trading views will load. Come on. All right, let's try this again. There we go. You can see that the value area low of that range is also where that daily's at. And since we've lost this fair value of our upper range, what we can expect if SUI is going to remain overall more macro bearish, coming down to 295, then we could expect to see a rejection from this general area where we have the value area low of our range, our daily level, our POC, and our channel, and then to continue pushing down to 295 where we have our naked daily point of control and our golden pocket. So I will be looking for potential shorts in this area. Let's actually right now set an alert on this daily. And if we do see bear divs coming into that daily, I will take a short and I will let you guys know about it in the Telegram. So daily. And one thing that I do want to warn about real quick though, you can see we do have some liquidity that is resting right above that daily. So there is a potential that we do get the fake out, and we see this a lot on these coins, especially like these big wicks that we see. So there's a potential that we could just come up here, wick that liquidity, and then lose the daily, and that would actually be even a nicer short because as soon as you wick above that SFP, you could short that SFP, and then if you lose that daily, you could expect to see a bigger drop here. So that general area is where I'll be looking for short positions if we do see a confirmed swing failure pattern or bear divs coming into the POC and the daily level, the bearish retest of the value area low of our upper range. And as far as support goes, really the only support that I'm interested in down below us is this golden pocket along with our naked daily point of control at 295. We do have some levels below that as well, but we will cover those if we lose this golden pocket. We can cover some of those lower levels. But for now, I do think that seeing a drop to this golden pocket is maybe likely to see, and we could still be looking at a much bigger impulse in the making here for SUI. Let's turn off our dailies and clean up this chart. And if we're looking at the more macro time frame, so let's zoom out onto the daily, we could still be looking at a big double 1-2 impulse here. Obviously, with this 5-wave impulse being our wave 1, the retrace to the golden pocket being a wave 2, this being our internal wave 1, and then if we retrace to that golden pocket being an internal wave 2, and then you could get your big third wave up, and then you'd see a 4-5-4-5 to kind of end the bull market for SUI. And this, of course, on being on the daily time frame, would take a few months to play out. That's it for SUI. Now let's go on to say. Once again, we're rejecting from that upper band of the pitchfork, and we're just in this range. So this range is all the price action that's pulled above since breaking above the midline. And we're bouncing from the value area low of the range very nicely. We've reclaimed our POC, so I'm expecting that SUI could see a bit more of a rise here, but overall potentially making a lower high. Let's zoom in now onto the 4-hour chart. So yeah, bouncing from the value area below the range. Now, very, very locally, if we look at our fib from the last rejection of the pitchfork band, that lower part of the pitchfork band, you can see that this local golden pocket at 30.96 is where our internal last liquidity was from last Thursday. So I would be looking for a potential short from that area if and only if we confirm a swing failure pattern. Anytime you see a swing failure pattern into a golden pocket, it's a setup that you should at least look at as a trader. But if we pull our Fibonacci from the highs, the last rejection from the top of the pitchfork band down to our lows, you can see that this golden pocket is a little bit more important. Yes, it is above our pitchfork band of resistance, but you can see this internal liquidity from the last rejection of the pitchfork band is resting right into that golden pocket. And that SFP into a golden pocket at 33 cents is going to be looking pretty good there. So those are my local levels to be looking for shorts. And then, of course, you could even pull your Fibonacci from the highs of this impulse to the correction lows that we have now, even though this low is lower. And you can see that golden pocket. Either one, you could use this low here. That golden pocket is in confluence with the value area high, but we have already tested that golden pocket once, so it's not as strong. You can see we have tested that golden pocket and rejected that golden pocket. So really, it's not the best Fibonacci to use because it's already been tested. So that's why we're pulling our Fibonacci from our lower high to our lows that we created. And that Fibonacci at 33 cents is the Fibonacci golden pocket that has some internal liquidity resting right in that area where we could get a potential rejection and continue this range, and continue these overall bigger ranges that do form around our bands, our pitchfork bands. Now, if we continue dropping here, if we lose the value area low of our range, then I do think we could see a drop at least to take the liquidity that we front ran on Monday when we did drop and attempt to lose the value area low. We didn't come down to our 26-27 level where that liquidity was resting. So I would be looking for a potential grab of that liquidity. But really, you can see the lows of our range of this entire fair value that we've been looking at since, late June. And if we look at those lows coming in at 24.57 would be actually really nice to grab because we continue to make just barely front run our liquidity on this range. And if we do see that bigger drop, then we could sweep all these, grab it, and then make that bigger push, trying to break up to the top of our pitchfork and our weekly level at 45 cents. Overall, just range bound, play the range until it breaks. We're bouncing from the value area low. We've reclaimed our POC, so there is a potential we could move to the value area high of the range. By the time we get up to that value area high, and if actually we look at the same Fibonacci pull and we turn on our 786, you can see the 786 is going to be where the value area high of the range is. It's also going to be, by the time we get up there, in alignment, in confluence with our pitchfork band, right at that value area high 786. And that's at 34.35, and that could be a really, really nice short opportunity if, say, it's just going to keep ranging, or after rejecting from that 34.35, coming down and grabbing liquidity afterwards. So those are the levels I'm interested in. Actually, right now, we'll just throw a box here. This is the main level that I would be looking for a nice, good potential swing short, or at least like a day trade short position, that 34.35 area. Value area high 786 and the upper band of the pitchfork. That's it for say. Going on to XRP. XRP is bouncing from our box of support. We're still just trading within this descending channel. And if we look at, let's zoom out here onto the 12-hour chart, our range that goes back really since it's all of 2025, but it goes a little bit into December. You can see it's really from the beginning of December of 2024. And we are back testing the value area high of that range. We broke out of that range. We saw a new all-time high on XRP after breaking out of that range. And after making this nice impulsive new all-time high, we are potentially seeing that three-wave corrective move, but we are coming down to the macro value area high to bullishly backtest it. Now, we did that earlier in the year at the beginning of August, and you can see we wicked past it a little bit, but then we reclaimed it and really overall bounced from it, but we made a higher low. So just recently on Monday and Monday, we grabbed the liquidity of those lows and we're pushing back above that value area high, which is a good sign. But if we look at this since the all-time high was made back in late July, if we pull a trend-based Fibonacci extension and we go from the highs to the lows to our lower highs, you can see that our one-to-one target is a bit lower here. So if we are going to see a bigger three-wave corrective move down overall, then we still haven't come to that main target for that three-wave corrective move. Now, that's a bit deep, and we really don't want to break back inside this volume profile, because if we break back inside this volume profile, we have a very high probability of coming to the point of control, which is at the bottom of the channel. So, if we lose this, we can continue chopping down until dumping down until we come to the bottom of the channel and the POC, which is at 241.4, we'll say. Let's go on to the 4-hour chart again, and we will look at some of our levels on the chart. Naked monthly point of control is going to be near the top of the channel. And with this naked monthly point of control, if we do rise up to this top of the channel in confluence with the naked monthly point of control, say we do something like this and come up there, we could potentially reject from the top of this descending corrective move and continue that push back down. So 301 is an area that I will be interested in looking for potential shorts. Actually, let's just set an alert on this naked monthly right now. Okay, turning off the naked monthlies. Let's look at the weekly levels. Okay, that's supposed to be naked weeklies, but I threw a weekly in there. Let me double check that. Trading views really being laggy today. While we're waiting for that, we can look at our naked dailies. You can see there is a naked daily up there as well. I think this is a naked weekly point of control that I mislabeled. So yeah, around the top of that channel, really like $3 to 301. Yes, that's a naked weekly point of control there. That is what this is supposed to be. So let's label that correctly. So naked weekly, naked daily point of control, and naked monthly point of control, all in this area at the top of the channel. That $3 to 301 area is definitely an area where we could be interested because of the high volume resistance there. We could be interested in looking for a short from that area. And then if we turn on our monthly levels, you have a monthly level that's real close by that, 302. Let's just throw all of those on there, and we will mark out our box of resistance that I would be looking for potential short if we're going to continue this overall bearish corrective move after making new all-time highs. Then this area would be the area I would expect some sort of rejection from. Weeklies are higher, and then we have some dailies that are higher as well. Yes. So really, the next level of resistance I'm interested in is $3 to 302. And with this bounce from the grabbing liquidity of the lows, we could make a rise up there over the next week or so. We did get the green dot on market cipher B, but our money flow still does look overall bearish, crossing into the red. NAMI did show the local bull divs on the daily, lower lows in the price action, higher lows in the momentum waves, and our money flow is rising on NAMI, which is faster than market cipher B. So market cipher B could be giving us a fake out of this money flow, and we can get one more little rise back up to push us up to 302. Okay, 2-hour chart. And we can actually also pull a range. Let me turn off this more macro range. Okay, that is our. And we can look at all the price action pretty much within this channel as a range that is forming. And if TradingView ever works, we can look at those volume levels. Come on, TradingView. All right, let's get back to XRP. There we go. Okay, so we are at the bearish backtest of the value area low. If we do reject here, I suspect that we will continue dropping and not come up to 302. But you can see 302 is also the POC of this range. So major levels in here. We just marked this box out real quick. So we got naked monthly POC, naked weekly POC, naked daily POC, and then the monthly level. A lot of resistance in this area. Of course, if we do break back inside this volume profile, we would expect to move up to the point of control. And so that's why if we don't reject from where we are now and we can close a daily candle back inside this range, I would expect a grind up to that area and then a potential rejection from that area to continue pushing down. Locally, 2 hour chart, we are seeing very, very slight bear divs here on the chart. You can see very slight bear divs, higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum. Not on NAMI. NAMI is not confirming bear divs. But either way, even with this slight bear divs, our money flow has crossed over into the green and looks like it's still wanting to rise a little bit. Let's go on to the 1 hour chart. And let's see. Yeah, we did confirm the 1 hour bear divs, just like with Bitcoin. So could see a little bit of a rejection here, a little bit of a pullback. Money flow is also draining here. We confirm bear divs on NAMI as well. And this is the area, guys, with it being the bearish backtest of this upper range. If we are going to reject, this is the general area where we would reject. Now, let's zoom back in onto the 1 hour chart. And if we pull a Fibonacci from the lows that were, remember, weekend lows, it was a Monday, but it was a holiday week for us in the United States, a holiday day, I should say. And we pull that Fibonacci of this rise that we've seen so far this week. We turn on our golden pocket. That golden pocket right around that channel midline and right around this internal liquidity grab at 276 could be an area where we bounce and then try make another run of breaking back in this side this volume profile. So I would be, and that's also in our major box of support. So I would be potentially looking for that scalp long opportunity from the 276 to continue up to 302. We'll have to see how it looks if we're forming local, like low time frame bull divs as we're coming down there. I would attempt a long, but if we're not forming any local divs, I definitely won't because we have to keep in mind the larger context of losing this volume profile, bearishly backtesting it. If you reject, then you might continue lower, like to make new lows and break actually back inside our big large range volume profile as well. But that's about it for XRP. Now let's go to Chainlink real quick. Chainlink, we're looking now. Earlier today, I did post about a potential short on Chainlink, and it didn't end up playing out. It was a very, very low risk, and I only risked about 0.7%. But I was looking at this rising wedge that's kind of forming here on Chainlink, and it just doesn't look too good to me. But we did break above the midline of the pitchfork, and because we broke above the midline of the pitchfork, I am now looking for it to flip to support. So you can see a flip to support and then to continue up to our purple box of resistance. So Chainlink, yes, this structure looks like a weak bounce, looks like a dead cat bounce for me. And if we turn on our volume, you can see the volume is getting lower and lower and lower as we are making that push up, which is a sign of a corrective move. Volume overall getting lower and lower, lower as we're forming this rising wedge does tell me that this could be a corrective move up before further dropping back down and coming to make new lows on the charts. But we are reclaiming our pitchfork midline. And because we are reclaiming our pitchfork midline, if and only if we can come down and backtest that pitchfork midline, I will look for a potential scalp to look for this to just rise a little bit higher. I mean, we do have this liquidity above us at $24, 24,041. And it does look like we might want to come take out that liquidity. And we are back inside our volume profile. If we look at this upper range, we're back inside. We're above the value area low. We're above the POC. And so now that we are breaking above those, we might expect a move to the value area high to continue this range. So potentially looking for a long at like 2376. My stop is going to go below that value area low because if we start to lose the value area low, then you can expect that we're probably going to break down. This was a fake out in a rising wedge dead cat bounce of the pitchfork midline. We lose it. We lose this. We're probably going to continue pushing back down. And remember, I talked about this on the live stream and on Monday's video. the main area that I'm looking for a swing long opportunity on Chainlink is backtesting our macro value area high at about 20.6. We do have the liquidity grab of this upper range. You can pull this range from where it's at here, or you can even bring it back to pretty much have all the price action. It's all the same. The value area high rises a little bit if you move the range back a little bit, but the value area low and POC stays the same, and that's where we're closest to anyways. But if we do start to lose this pitchfork midline, then I expect us to drop all the way back down to grab the liquidity of this upper range and to back test our macro value area high that we broke out of. So let me turn off some of these levels. And we'll zoom out onto the daily chart real quick. This range goes back to November of 2023, and we broke out of this macro volume profile with a nice big push up, a volume supported push to the upside. So now that we're breaking out of a 2-year fair value for Chainlink, if we do come back down to back tested to support, very similar to what Bitcoin is doing right now with its 2025 range, and it holds its support, then we can expect new highs to come in overall on Chainlink. And so the main area that I'm looking for a potential swing long is that 20.6K area, grabbing the liquidity into that 20.6K macro back test of the value area high. Right now, we're dealing with more local price action. The markets are boring, so we're zoomed in a little bit, looking at potential scalp opportunities here, and just looking for this relief rally to continue. 4-hour chart here, 4-hour chart money flow. Now, money flow is starting to curve over again here on the 4-hour, which is very recent. This is the last 4 hours, 4-hour candle that just finished printing. That money flow is starting to roll over. And so be aware, guys, because like I said at the beginning of this does look like a corrective move. A rising wedge with low volume is generally a corrective move, a dead cat bounce before continued drops to the downside. So if we do come down to the pitchfork and it holds, of course, I'm going to be waiting for the bounce, and then I'll long a little bit above it, looking to take it up to the value area high of the range. But if we lose it, I will, just like I was this morning, be looking for a back test and a short from that area. It all depends on how our confirmations look on the charts. But you can see here, NAMI's continuing to print bear divs as we're slowly rising in this rising wedge here. And with the money flow now on the 4-hour on Market Cipher B starting to roll over again, we could potentially see that loss of the midline. So I'll keep you updated on what I do on Chainlink. Chainlink is an interesting one to me right now. I'll keep you updated on that in the Telegram if I do take a trade on Chainlink. But overall, Chainlink is just kind of ranging in this upper range, and I actually like this range better. All the price action above the midline with the deviation and the deviation here. And that is where the value area high of our range aligns with our golden pocket, where you could expect a potential lower high to come in on the charts and a potential bigger swing short position if the bearish momentum is going to continue. So that's honestly about it for today, guys. If you got anything out of the video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I will be live streaming again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come join us. And if you have any questions, we can look at any altcoins and just kind of look for trade setups. So I'll see you tomorrow.